to thank our guests for joining us again for the next in our series of virtual presentations. Tonight is sponsored by Abercrombie Kent and hosted by Cynthia Reed, our sales director for the Northwestern region of the United States. Cynthia is a fantastic spokesperson. She's been to more countries and continents in the world than I can name, and we're very lucky to have her with us. So Cynthia, please go ahead and share the wonders of Africa with us.
Thank you, Bob. I'm so pleased to be here and working alongside you all these many decades now. You and your team are some of the best in the business, and everyone listening tonight is so fortunate to be in the care of the advisors at Fugazi Travel, one of our most preferred partners in this wonderful travel world. For the advisors listening tonight, thank you. It's been such a privilege of my career to work with you. And for the clients listening, you're the lucky ones. It's so fun when I meet you and get to hear about your excitement after traveling with us anywhere in our world. So tonight, on request of our experts at Fugazi, we want to take you to Africa for the next 30 minutes, the home of our company almost 60 years ago, and where Jeffrey Kent and his family, he was raised, and his parents lived there as British nationals, and he and his parents founded this company all these years ago in Kenya. So we're very pleased to bring you the very best of Africa, which we call Amazing Africa. So there is a picture of our illustrious founder, Jeffrey Kent on the right, and as a young boy on the left, in Zambia, and he was actually born on safari, which is really a devotion level to the continent that many people would not have. And in the years hence, we've built up small group travel and private travel and luxury expedition cruising and wings over the world, and even private jets circumnavigating the world. So what Jeffrey and his family did in Kenya all those years ago was provide more comfort and use logistics to bring more elegance and some luxury into the bush, so to speak. And that wasn't done at the time. We were really the forefront of this kind of travel. And Jeffrey and his parents' brilliance was to partner with START and enlarge upon that model around the world. So we are a luxury operator, and we believe that if people pay just a little bit more, they'll really enjoy the comfort and luxury that we bring to it. And I'm very excited to bring this map to you today. It's brand new as of yesterday. We have opened 38 countries for travel currently. And in the last couple of weeks, so much of Europe has opened to our North American travelers. So if you don't yet have a plan for this year, do think about working with your Fugazi travel advisor to plan your trip. My insider tip is that next year is getting booked up really rapidly on high season dates, and especially where the lodges or the camps or the hotels are small and boutique and elegant, many of the kinds that we like to use. And once the space is filled, it's filled. So whether you want to travel this fall, the summer, fall, or upcoming winter, or it's next year that you're thinking about, do get a booking going, because you don't want to lose out. And to help you do that and to put your mind at ease, if you have any concerns, any new booking made for travel this year or next year up until December 31st carries with it our Book with Confidence a protocol. And that means for COVID-related reasons, if there's a cancellation, up to 15 days before departure, you will not incur any penalties. So that just says, look, get a deposit going now for the dates and the places you want, and then let's all work together to get you out the door to that dream trip. So here's a map of our Africa. We work in 13 countries, sub-Saharan. As I mentioned, we started in Nairobi almost 60 years ago this year. And we've got something like 15 offices throughout Africa with our colleagues on the ground. Somewhere close to 1,000 of my colleagues live, work, and call these countries their home. So when you land, it's in the care of my colleagues and full Abercrombie Kent employees around the world. So why Africa? It's on most of our bucket lists. The big animals, seeing wild animals in their natural environment is awe-inspiring. It's unlike anything else I've done in my years of travel. And I love going on safari. No matter how many times I've been to the same park, it's different every time you go on a game drive. So the big animals bring us into the continent. And then there's some surprises like the African wild dog pictured here. It took me 13 trips to Africa to see one, and I was so thrilled to do that. They're spectacular animals. What a lot of people are surprised by are the large elephant herds, or the large pride of lions, or the magnificent wildebeest and zebra herds. So you will have seen the pictures, but the numbers of game living in these big wild landscapes is really what it adds to the awe and inspiration. So this one I've not seen. It's an aardwolf. I need to go back. Was lucky on my last safari to see an aardvark, but they snuffle around at night and they quickly bury themselves in a hole. So nobody in my vehicle got a picture, but isn't this a lovely aardwolf? So let's start in East Africa. Nairobi is about the size of Texas, and Tanzania is 1.5 times larger. And where the iconic parks are the Masai Mara, the little cap on the top of the Serengeti National Park, combined with the Ngorongoro Conservation Area. You can see it here in the circle. So the bulk of this big grassland, open plains, is in Tanzania, and the Kenya has a smaller portion, and very, very well known for good reason. It's got the lion pride capital on the planet. So let's start with the migratory patterns. Many people tell me, Cynthia, I want to see the big herds. And listen, you can go any time of the year, whether you see some wildebeest or the 1.5 million wildebeest and zebra that migrate together. It doesn't really matter. It's always going to be spectacular. But if your focus is on seeing the movement of the herds, this is traditionally what they do. The mother wildebeest and zebra give birth in January, February, and into March in the southern Serengeti. They give birth to their calves quickly and all clumped together. It's the thing they've learned to do, evolutionarily speaking. So they have a higher survival rate of their young. And then they get them up and moving and get into central Serengeti, April, May. They're getting close to crossing the border in June. And then they come over into Kenya, July, August, September, October. And you can see the Masai River there with the river crossings that you can see pictured to the right. Those happen in Kenya, July, August, September, and then the animals head down. It's a year-long migration. The two different species feed on the same grass. They feed on different parts of the grass. So they work really well together to protect themselves from the lions and the cheetah and the leopards that are always on their heels. So this is what it looks like, a very peaceful plains experience with the wildebeest. We don't see the zebra in this picture, but it's just a really spectacular experience to see hundreds and hundreds and sometimes several thousand animals all within one camera lens. So up north in northern Kenya, there are some species found nowhere else, like the remarkable geronok to the right, the oryx to the left, lower left, and the kudu. They also have different types of zebra. Who knew there are different species, but look at how the stripes go all the way around, or pretty much all the way around in this species, and it's common. And this is the Grevy's zebra up north. You see the stripes don't go all the way around. So you get to see different species, a reason to come up north in Kenya. Everyone comes for the big animals, but most people go home pretty amazed by the birds. This is a red-billed oxpecker. I love the birds of Africa. They're big, they're easy to see, they don't always fly away, and they're just remarkable birds. Look at this colorful curlew. Look at the whale-headed stork on the left, Kenya's national bird, the lilac-breasted roller, upper right, and the African fish eagle, sort of similar to our bald eagle. Really spectacular bird life alongside the game. And what many people go home really appreciating is the cultural interaction. The many different tribes in Africa are proud to be tribally affiliated, and they wear their native clothing proudly, and they maintain many of their traditions throughout a lot of Africa. So you will interact with at least the Maasai and sometimes the Luo and sometimes the different tribes throughout the area, the Botswanans and the like. So here are some young Maasai warriors. And the land we see has been protected by their ancestors over the years, and they don't hunt the game for meat. So it's a big debt of gratitude we owe the peoples that surround these parks. So how will you get there? And what will you ask your Fugazi travel advisor about? This is a very popular safari, and it combines the best of Kenya and Tanzania on one trip. This is going to stay in luxury tented camps. It's going to fly some of the sectors, and it's really an intimate way to travel with no more than 18 guests, guaranteed from first booking, and you're in really the finest properties available and timed around the migratory seasons that we've already talked about. Here's a really good intro way. It's the way my family traveled when we went to East Africa. Kenya and Tanzania Wildlife Safari. It's a different price. It's still 18 guests maximum, guaranteed from first booking. Here we'll use the really beautiful lodges situated throughout the Kenya and Tanzania. We'll fly some of the sectors, and then we'll have a tented camp at the end. So also a good introduction. If you know you want to spend a lot of time in Tanzania, this is a great way to go. Some tented camp experiences. You can add the gorilla trekking to this. You can add Zanzibar at the coast, or you can add time in Kenya as well. So focus on Tanzania with this one. And then here's a trend that we've seen increasing over the last couple of years. People value their time. They're willing to pay a little bit more to fly every sector. So it's more time on the ground in the national parks with the game and less time doing any road travel transfers. So we call this style of travel Wings over East Africa. We have a similar a way to travel in Southern Africa that visits 4 countries. This trip, as you can see, visits 2. So it's a way to expand your itinerary in a nice period of time. So one thing you can do in East Africa is go hot air ballooning. It's a lot of fun to do, especially if the migration is in the grasslands when you're in the hot air balloon, because you really can look down on the herds and see what's going on, and your binoculars are useful. And they're some of the largest balloons in the world, and really a sweet way to wake up in the morning. And then you have a champagne breakfast out there in the plains afterwards. Lots of ways to get active and involved. You can walk in some places with us. You can get out on some of the rivers. There's some beautiful rivers and lakes that can be seen in Africa. And depending on where you're going, we can organize some water experiences for you. This is the best water experience in the continent. It's Victoria Falls, the widest curtain of water anywhere in the world when it's in full flow. It's 1.2 miles across, and the falls belong to Zambia, but the Zimbabweans say that, or most of the falls do, but the Zimbabweans say that they have the view. So this is an international boundary, as falls are. And you can see the Victoria Falls Bridge off to the left. If you'd like to try bungee jumping, we can do that for you, or whitewater rafting. I highly recommend the ultralight flight. I did this the last time I was there, absolutely loved it. But you can also do a helicopter flight or a fixed wing flight just to get up above the falls and see the whole perspective. Really outstanding. And some people are fascinated with the deserts, and Namibia has some of the most exciting in the world. And there's no place quite like it. Namibia is as big as California, Oregon, and Washington combined, landmass wise, and has fewer than 2 million people. So you can just imagine how big the landscapes are. And you fly for part of your time in Namibia. And so you really do get this big open perspective. It's a spectacular country. And then you get to watch sunrise from the top of one of these amazing sand dunes. Many people like to give back, and we've got projects, 44 around the world that we support, and many of those are in Africa. So you can help endangered animals like the elephant orphanage seen here. You can work alongside our teams to donate or visit schools. You can help with clean drinking water and health initiatives. We have a hospital we support in Uganda. And we love small entrepreneurial businesses for the women in Africa and elsewhere. And so these are bike shop technicians, where these widows have been hired to learn bike care and maintenance. We ship over the first container of used bikes from America, and they rent them or sell them. And then they learn to budget and save their money, and then they buy the next container of bikes. So it's a really successful model. We've tried several places in Africa and around the world. So one of the trends we're seeing, as I mentioned before, is to get active and involved. Many of our guests, especially from our Western states and Western Canada, love to get out and either walk or hike, or in this case, ride a horse. And it's a really up close way to be with wild game. And you can have these spectacular breaks that you've ridden to a spot like this on your horse. And then you turn the corner and there's a butler with appetizers and champagne and any drink you'd like. Up in the north or at the coast, you can ride camels. They're a little ungainly the first time, but once you get the hang of them, they're pretty smooth. And there's a tribe up in the north, Samburu, this is in Kenya, which really live with the transport that they use on their camels. So they are fabulous camel truckers. I mentioned I think I mentioned biking. If I didn't, you can bike in some of the properties around East Africa and Southern Africa. I tried this on a private concession last time I was in Kenya, and it was really amazing. We had a guide with us, of course, and we took us to a safe area. And it was really spectacular to ride these hybrid mountain bikes around the wild area. And if you are a hiker like I am, we'd love to get you up Kilimanjaro. We have a 97% summit success rate. That's me in the little red hat. It's 19,341 feet, and you'll feel like $1 million once you descend. Being up there, getting the picture is great. And then once you descend, you'll feel, infinitely much better. We have a great team on the mountain. It's very comfortable. They take care of everything for you. You really just have to hike and arrive with a good attitude, and we'll do our very best to get you to the top. And whatever you do that's special interest, everyone's going to go out on game drives. So these vehicles are really comfortable, and you're out early morning. They wake you up with tea or coffee and a little biscuit, and you get out in the vehicle and you spend hours with the game. They're just waking up. It's a really great time of day. Then you'll come back and get ready for a nice brunch, rest up, have lunch. We do a lot of eating on safari, and go out in late afternoon, early evening. And that's a really active time for the games. So it's the natural rhythms of life, and you do this day after day, and it becomes just such a comfortable way to be on vacation. With any luck, you'll see the cheetah. Everyone's going to see lions. We can never use the word guarantee, but you are going to see lions. Many people are lucky to see leopards. Many people are lucky to see cheetah. It's particularly lucky if you get to see all three of the big cats. Another trend we're seeing this year is family groups or couples, maybe 2 or 3 couples that you like to travel with, taking over a small place. There are private concessions throughout. So this is old Jogi up in northern Kenya, and you can take over a whole 3 or 4 bedroom kind of house, or several suites. And so then you're in your own little traveling bubble. Here's one of the luxury suites in the upper left, beautiful private accommodations on the lower left, and you can see the dome place on the right. So there's a lot of privacy, and we can do room service here if you'd like. You can be out in public spaces, of course, but if you have any concerns about privacy, that is absolutely achievable in East or Southern Africa. This is a fun new way to do, something fun to do. It's to spend a night in a tree bed, sky bed accommodations. So we have the mosquito netting all around, and you get to be out there in the open sky and watch the night sky and listen to the sounds. Really wonderful. In Southern Africa, there's a variety of really beautiful historic properties on gracious lands. Think of our wine country in California. So this is called Cape Dutch architecture, and it's set in the beautiful valley surrounding Cape Town. This is Ellerman House on the cliffs above Cape Town, and you're looking out on a really pretty sweep of the southern coast. And it's a veritable art gallery. The owner loves art, and it's gracious grounds. They have a wonderful bar with the evening view here, the sunset, a nice pool. They've got private wine tasting rooms. They've got a really gorgeous wine cellar. So Ellerman House is a gracious boutique way to stay in Cape Town. And then there's beautiful coastal experiences in Kenya and Tanzania and South Africa that we can get you barefoot elegance for snorkeling or scuba diving or just relaxation or honeymoon or anniversary celebrations, whatever your reason for travel is. So let's head south now. We're working in 5 of the Southern African countries: Namibia, South Africa, Botswana, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. And we have offices in these areas and teams on the ground. So Botswana, why Botswana? Because of the Okavango Delta combined with Victoria Falls. So it's a lot of water, and some of your game drives are going to be on the Chobe River or the Zambezi or this Okavango Delta, which is a flooded internal grassland area. And then, of course, you get to see Victoria Falls. Really beautiful fly-in camps. So it feels very remote and private. This is a really good intro, and it can be combined with the Botswana Safari in Style on several dates. It's our South Africa and Victoria Falls. So it includes all the must-sees, Cape Town, Kruger area, and then flies up to Victoria Falls and Livingstone in Zambia. And again, you can do it privately to add Botswana if you'd like to be more complete in the area, or you can do a private into Namibia. And this is one thing that a lot of people like to do, combine river cruise and safari. That's Southern Africa by river and rail. It's the Rovos train, a really luxury, elegant train, combined with a cruise on the Zambezi, and then game drives as well on land. And I mentioned that Wings program in East Africa. Here's what it looks like here in Southern Africa, 4 countries that we'll get to see because we're flying everywhere, point to point, small private planes. So it's just a really efficient way to see South Africa, Namibia, Zambia, and Botswana, highlights in the region. So we're going to talk about a special way to lengthen your safari trip. It can be what we're going to talk about now is gorilla trekking, and this can be added to either East or Southern Africa itinerary. And right now, the high mountain gorillas live in only 3 parts of the world: the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Uganda, and Rwanda. We take our guests to either Uganda or Rwanda, and we have experts to help guide your choice with your travel advisor at Fugazi. So why see these mountain gorillas? Well, they share so much DNA. I think it's 97.5%. There's just something about those deep eyes of the silverback or the babies or the mothers. And they're very, very peace-loving animals. They just want to be left alone in their forest to eat their bamboo and their pith of the plants, and they're not carnivorous in any way. So they're vegetarians, and they're very peace-loving, and it's such a privilege to walk to them. So you can walk short distances, longer distances, you never quite know. The porters take your bags for you. They'll give you walking sticks. And here's a guide that I was privileged to have in Rwanda. This is Francois. He's the last of the guides that actually worked with Diane Fossey in Rwanda. So he's just an amazing man, and he hoots in, he knows all the different hoots of the animals he visits. They know him, he knows them. He's been doing it so long. So he lets them know we're coming, and then they get, they're prepared because they see him every day. And we get to go in on the shirt tails of his relationship with the animals. It's really a remarkable, life-changing experience. So the mother, the baby's here, and it's just incredible. You get to know the names of your animals when you get your assigned group. And so you know how many you're looking for, and how many babies there are, and how many blackbacks, the young males, and how many mamas, and then the one silverback. And it's just a really remarkable experience. We have our cousin company owns Gorilla Forest Camp. This is in Uganda. And the gorillas come right out of the forest, where it's right into the forest. And so they can walk through camp anytime. I had an experience when I was there where they were in the forest adjacent to my thatched tented hut or tented house. And the porter took my bag and he says, "Ma'am, you have gorillas in your forest." I said, "Oh my goodness." And I put down my tea. Why I did not bring my camera, I cannot tell you, but there were gorillas in my forest. So I just quietly walked into the forest, and there they were. It could have been this family or another one just moving up the slope on top of the hills from where I was. They were up in the trees around my little thatched house, thatched tented camp. And the mothers were watching the babies, and the blackbacks were just messing around, and the silverback was behind his family watching them all move up slope. It was exquisite. I'll never forget it as long as I live. My jugular is pumping, my eyes are popping out of my little face, and then it gets better. Unbeknownst, he he doesn't see me, he's upslope, but the silverback gets up on his hind legs and beats his chest, just like in the movies, and then gets down on all fours after letting out a grunt. It was really a spectacular moment. And then I had to leave. So Uganda's a really special little place. It's called the Bwindi Impenetrable Forest. And what's new is Rwanda has some spectacular properties. It's an easy access from their capital, Kigali, and they've got one and only. They've got Governor's Camp. They've got these really brand new, beautiful properties. And then that's your view in the lower left of the 2 volcanoes. And Park National des Volcans is where you'll do your gorilla viewing here. So either one, Rwanda or Uganda, can be added to any itinerary. And either country offers chimp trekking. I did this and it was really different than gorilla trekking, and we'll be happy to talk to you. I recommend doing both for all of us that love the primates, and you can get these fun pictures. So we have a really spectacular way that includes some of Africa to see the world. And this is going around the world on a private jet, an Icelandair 757 that stays with us the whole time. And it's wildlife focused, and we have a few spaces left in October of 2022. And you can see that besides the African experience that I was just mentioning in the Masai Mara and Rwanda, that we also include lemurs in Madagascar, tigers in India, orangutans in Borneo, Sandakan, whale sharks in the Philippines, and the snow monkeys in Japan, and the tarsiers as well. So it's a really exquisite private jet around the world. So whether it's families that you want to bring over to Africa and introduce them to the wonders of game in the wild, or whether it's seeing, the lion prides that everyone hears about, or any of the children in your family that loved Lion King, this is the place where it's all come from. So whether you're a solo traveler that maybe would like to join one of our small groups and meet really like-minded, friendly people, you'll never be on your own as a solo traveler with us. Or maybe you're a couple celebrating an anniversary or a honeymoon. Or maybe you want to bring multi-generational, three generations of family to Africa. We're all here. Africans are so friendly and hospitable and warm and welcoming, and it's sincere and genuine. So whether it's the beautiful cities, the wine tasting, the game, the people, my team is ready to welcome you. And we just hope you make a plan to come to Africa soon. So with that, I'll thank you and encourage you to talk to your Fugazi advisor and make a plan, whether it's to Africa or anywhere else. And over to you, Bob.
Thank you, Cynthia. I'm just bowled over by the photos you just showed us. I want to go back to Africa again. Those of you who are thinking of returning or going for the first time, it's an excellent time in history to be looking at it. You all know how far it is to fly to the other side of the world, and business class fares on 2 or 3 of the world's great carriers have never been more affordable. So again, if you're serious, give any of your advisors at Fugazi a ring. Liz, Nancy, Erica, Christine, Joanne, everybody's ready, willing, and able to craft a fantastic African experience for you. Thank you. This is going to be available on a recorded basis in the next few days. We'll share that with all of you, and we look forward to the next time we can all be together on a virtual presentation. Have a great evening. Thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you, Bob.